right, y'all, here we are. We're still here at the beach. It is technically day number 4 for you guys. Yesterday was interesting. I got out here with a 4.2 meter kite, and it was just really gusting. I mean, it was really strong. And to the point where if you ran and you pulled really hard, it would take you up and off the ground, which is really fun for a while, especially if it was just like, ooh, I'm hanging on, and then you kind of, lifted your legs up. But a couple times I would actually run and jump, and the thing would pull me up into the air, what felt like 30 feet. Obviously it wasn't. My wife took some video. It's not very pretty of me romping around the beach, and you'd get up in the air 2 or 3 feet, but all of a sudden you would come down like a load of bricks. I mean, there was no control. You just fall literally straight down, which is kind of cool, but at the same time, I'm trying to learn more and be safe. So kind of called it quits a little earlier than I would have hoped, but the wind conditions were just kind of squirrely. That was on the 4.2 meter kite. Today thought, hey, you know what, let's exercise a little bit more wisdom, and we're going to take out the 3 meter kite, which we've never taken out. We'd flown the 2.5 meter, the 4.2, and now let's take the 3 out. Well, we got down here and there's like nobody here. I mean, yeah, there's a few people out, but there aren't hundreds of people out. If there's probably 20 or 30 people out on this whole mile stretch, I'd be surprised, because it's kind of cold. But at the same time, it's not very windy. So I thought, hey, you know what, let's give it a shot. Let's get the kite out, which is right there behind me. Took it out, got it up in the air for about 15 seconds, and then it just started to become work. And then it ended up in the ocean, and then it became heavy and even more work. So, in one of the videos, we're going to talk about the decision tree. You decide to, go out and fly. That's a decision. But then you go out and you see that the conditions are kind of squirrely. That's the next decision. Then you try to push it. That's the decision. And then eventually you're like 10 or 12 into here, and that's when you have accidents, and then that's when things happen. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this decision tree off now, before something not bad happens, but just before it turns out to be a not as fun day as it possibly could be. So learning to exercise that type of decision now is good practice for whenever it's me with a paramotor on my back. Maybe the conditions aren't quite as favorable as you'd hope. Not going to push the envelope on safety or push the envelope to have fun when, there's always later. There's always another hour from now. So with that said, I'm going to sign off, maybe hunt for some shark's teeth. There's the 300 behind me in kind of a wet mess. Let her dry out a little bit and just kind of go for a walk. So that said, change of plans, moving on. Talk to you soon. Alright guys, hey, welcome back. I look like a Jedi Master here with my hood up. It actually got a little windy, but really cold. And as you can tell by the background, it is really bright out, but it's freezing and there's nobody out. And of course, watch me pan back there, and there's people back there. But when you consider that there's usually 1,000 people here at the beach, having like 2 or 3 crazy people like me means that it's really cold. So with that being said, I don't think there's enough wind for the 300 yet today. So we just went on a nice walk, my son and I, looking for some shark's teeth. We didn't find any shag's teeth, like they say in Australia. It's a terrible accent. But anyway, didn't find any. But we had a good time just walking and talking and kind of being goofy, and I'll put some of that in the video as well. But I think we're gonna go over and grab some snacks, continue to look like a cool Jedi Master with my hood up, and see what the rest of the day holds. See ya. Alright, once again, reporting in about the wind conditions, and one great way to kind of test it out is you can just reach down and grab a handful of sand if you don't have any flags or windsocks around, and just see if it's pulling any particular direction. but we're kind of lucky here back behind me. Don't know if you can see it. There's the American flag, God bless America, and it's hardly blowing at all. Whatever, I'm filming this is probably going to be super gusting, but the reality of it is it's not very windy today, and so we're just kind of explore, have some lunch, and see what happens. All right, so here I am, still sporting the Jedi awesome hoodie, peanut butter and jelly, lunch of champions. And my daughter overheard me doing the audio on that last one talking about wind socks. She thought it was kind of a funny term. Hey, do you happen to have any wind socks? Anyway, just the things and the terms that we use. But literally, you could use anything. You could use, you know, a professional wind sock. You could have a streamer from a kite. That has been a great help because just down the beach the last couple days, there's been two crazy guys just like me out flying their stunt kites, and they've got huge, super long streamers out that literally, I don't know, 100 feet long. So whenever they do the loops, and if you've been following us on YouTube, you've seen their streamers. It's been super cool, super fun. Not exactly sure why we don't put them on our kites, but it's been very helpful to watch where that wind's been coming from and kind of track it. So I'm going to finish up my lunch at Champions and maybe go for a walk. See ya. I think one of the things I like about being outside and doing these walks and stuff is the fact that you can enjoy nature like this. But right now you see a sandpiper in front of me just kind of looking for his lunch. And I would try to get closer, but every time I do, they like scurry away. Racing down for something I sure can't see. All right, guys, good news. The wind has shifted literally in the last 10 minutes or so, maybe 5 to 10 minutes. Literally the wind has from my left to behind me completely shifted. And I'm thinking that that's a good sign. So what I'm gonna do is give it another 10-15 minutes. Just finished up some lunch and see if the winds pick up just a little bit so we can get this kite dried out and packed up. Don't want to put it away wet. At the same time, you know, I want to have some fun with it, but you know, if it's just going to be a ton of work, I don't want to go through it all. But I do want to take good care of the kite, because if we take good care of it now, it'll keep it good for years to come. So with that said, I'm going to sign out, maybe finish up a few chips, give it a few minutes, get something cold to drink. Still sporting the Jedi hood because it is still cold. It's sunny, but it's still cold. So I'm gonna sign out for now and talk to y'all in a minute. All right, so got the kite up here. Not very windy, so everything's just kind of slow and lumbering. It's like the difference between driving a Ferrari or a sports car and driving a semi-tractor trailer today, because that wind is just barely there. But just trying to get the kite dried out a little bit and have a little bit of fun. Always good to learn, even on mild days like today. So let me see if I can flip this around. So it's pretty mild. Just trying to keep the kite up, get it dried out a little more. Every once in a while I'll get a big gust. But this is the control. So if you want it to go to the right, pull back on the right and back to the left. But I'm really not working hard, but concentrating on how to keep this thing in the air on a mild day. I would say one of the coolest things about having this kite out is that people will stop by and they'll ask me, you know, how does it work and this, that, and the other. So it's been fun. Let me give you the guys the 10-second lesson on how this works. If you want to make it go to the right, you pull on the right hand side to shorten the line. If you want it to go left, obviously the opposite. Now what's the line in the middle with the red ball on it? That's basically your brake or your kill. If you want it to dive suddenly, which I don't today, you would pull on this red line, which is attached to you, which basically says, hey, you know what? I want this thing to sink, and it will definitely do that. But today I'm just glad to have the thing up in the air, so that's the lesson on the 3 lines on this particular length.